Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. Going through the lessons this year, asking Jesus to clarify for me. I've been doing that for several years now. And then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you. So let's get started. We're on our review lessons, review 6, and we're on lesson 207. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I bless the world because I bless myself. God's blessing shines upon me from within my heart where it abides. I need but turn to Him, and every sorrow melts away as I accept His boundless love for me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. It is important that I realize that I will resist turning to God if I still harbor fear and guilt in my mind. If I still hold grievances and judgments, and if I love my specialness and don't want to let it go. This is why I do the practices that are given in these lessons. I have discovered for myself that I'm not being asked to sacrifice. On the contrary, I discovered that nothing I valued was worthy of me, and none of it was bringing me peace and happiness. Letting it go was no sacrifice whatsoever. This is always some form of choosing God over ego. Sometimes it looks one way and sometimes another, but in content, it's always the same. I might use the word forgive to mean the same thing. When I bring everything not perfect love to the Holy Spirit for correction, I'm blessing myself and the world. I am forgiving myself and the world. I'm very attracted to the idea that I bless the world because I bless myself. How else can I bless the world? It is through my acceptance of myself that I have a blessing to give. My only function is to accept the atonement for myself, and then blessings will flow from me without any effort or even thought. I also love the rest of this lesson. I love knowing that God shines from within me, from the center of my being. When I know this, when that knowledge is strong in me, I am in joy and peace, and sorrow has no place in me. I accept His boundless love for me this morning. And that was because I had a very busy day yesterday with lots of running here and there, and it went on longer than I would have liked. Today I'm tired, and at first I was fighting that, then realizing what I was doing, I just let my resistance to what is go. I'm tired and I'm happy in my tiredness. It's funny how that changes the experience. I understand now that emotions are like thoughts. If I just let them be, they come and go without much effect. They don't mean anything unless I give them meaning. On the other hand, emotions can point me to a false thought in my mind so that I can release it, but only if I don't repress or resist. I've talked about this resistance to emotion before. Today, I am sharing another time when I received help with this. The following is from an earlier entry in my journal. I was being taught a different way to be with my emotions. Again, I'm reminded that what I do is done for all because we are one whole. So, how do I bless myself? It's always some form of choosing God over ego. And that's what I want to remember about it. When I bring everything that's not perfect love to the Holy Spirit, then I'm going to be blessed and then I will bless. I practiced this process in a different way yesterday. The Holy Spirit has suggested that I allow myself to feel whatever comes up with these thoughts. I think this is because I've always run from disturbing emotions and have preferred to stay on the surface of the course. What I mean by that is I have wanted to do the course on an intellectual level. I didn't do this deliberately, but I'm being guided to realize that this is what I was doing. I understand this because the course was obviously given to meet the needs of those of us who view the world in terms of concepts, which is why I was drawn to it. However, I will limit the effectiveness if I stay there on the surface. As I have expressed a deep desire for healing, being given ways in which I can go to another level. Yesterday, I had a confrontational situation come up, and I didn't want to face it. I felt very anxious, and my first response was to give this anxiety to the Holy Spirit. Then I thought, no, I will give him the thought behind the anxiety and ask him to correct that thought. At the same time, I was trying to suppress the anxiety, and the Holy Spirit very gently led me to realize that I was not really asking him to correct my thoughts. I was asking him to remove my discomfort. He suggested I just allow the anxiety to come up and allow myself to feel it. I don't think everyone has the same problem with facing strong emotions that I do, but I've always run away from them for some reason. This has made a barrier in my life that keeps out a lot of good things and keeps me from fully releasing many things I don't want to keep. The Holy Spirit has helped me to see that in order to give him anything, I must be willing to look with him at what has come up. I was nervous about doing this as if too much emotion would drown me, or maybe it would never go away. It feels strange that I don't really understand the fear around this. I told the Holy Spirit that I was willing to do this if he was beside me, and of course he is, because that's his function. He told me that I could imagine him being a good friend holding me as I did this. A friend of mine told me that feeling, no matter how unpleasant and how strong, will just come up, peak, and then fade away. And she was right. That's what happened. I allowed myself to experience the anxiety as fully as possible, and none of my fears manifested. I just felt it. It was nothing, just a feeling. After it faded, I felt better, but it came back and I went through the process several times. Each time taught me that it is just a feeling and that I am not the emotion. I'm the one feeling it. As I did this part of the process, I became aware that I felt resentment toward the person involved. It felt like it was his fault I was having to go through this. I was really lost in my anger, even though I knew it was an error to find him guilty. But I was so focused on the ego, on the story, that I had trouble remembering why. When I asked the Holy Spirit to help me see more clearly, this is what came to mind. What I am feeling is not love, and I do not want anything in my mind that is not love. I'm willing to see this differently because I want only love. He reminded me of my intention and commitment. And as soon as that thought entered my mind, I felt a wave of peace wash over me. This truly is the only thing that matters. I don't need to make him wrong so I can be right. I don't need this confrontation to happen, nor is it necessary to my peace of mind that it not happen. In fact, I don't need to be concerned about the meaning at all. I realized that now, I realized that now, it did not feel like a confrontation to me. I began to wonder how I might best express love to this person. I asked the Holy Spirit to guide me in the meeting. It turned out to be a very calm meeting without the confrontational mood I had expected. He did some things that might have been perceived as confrontational if I'd arrived with that fear. From time to time, I reminded myself of my purpose here, to express love in whatever way would be most helpful. I did not go into the meeting in joy, but I think I could do that next time. Some fear thoughts came up from time to time during the course of the all day meeting. However, I was able to recognize them and release them without acting on them. I really felt that staying in touch with my higher self rather than turning to the ego as a defense was a blessing to myself. I know it was a blessing to everyone else in the meeting. Regina suggested this: stay with the practice of letting spiritual intuition lead you throughout the day. You don't need ego to guide you. Ego offers nothing of value. Spiritual intuition is the only guide we want now. And I'm thinking, exactly. I've learned to sort my thoughts and recognize what comes from my holy mind instead of what comes from the ego mind. I've learned that I don't have to listen to or believe ego thoughts. The idea that I'm tired and that matters and colors my day are ego thoughts. The idea that I don't need to let being tired make me unhappy is spiritual intuition that just turned everything around. Thank you so much for sharing this lesson with me. If you found it helpful, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with another lesson.